Okay, we are back, and if you notice in the background, Ivan's back. We're in full swing. It's a little bit later today. It's already after 12. I had to go to see a doctor this morning and do some blood work. They said I'm in here a little bit late. So what Ivan's doing right now is spraying the sealer coats on all of that gray furniture, you know, those cabinets we did yesterday. I'm gonna jump in, sand the sealer on that dining table and those bookshelves and guitar pick table. So as soon as Ivan is completed and done, I can get in the spray booth, do the finals on those pieces. So those are ready to go possibly tomorrow and Friday. So let's get to work, guys. So it's definitely a little more noisy in here when we have, when Ivan's here and we're, in the spray booth. You're gonna hear the compressor kick on from time to time. I said that's just what it is. So today we're gonna go through all of these pieces again, scuff them one more time. They're already fairly smooth, so we just want to make sure that they get that perfectly smooth, so that way the next coat, which is the final, lays on glass smooth. It usually takes a lot less. Sometimes even just like if you take your sanding sponge and hit the sanding sponge, that's really all you need too. Large flat areas I'll use paper on, but for everything else it's usually just the sponge like this. Get it all smooth. Now it's like using 320 or 400 grit sandpaper with this, and we'll get it prepped and back in the spray booth in a couple hours. The first piece is done. Now we're on to number 2. I said I wanted to come on here as well too, and just while I'm working on this, just tell you, with this platform, I also talk a lot about just taking care of your health, because if you don't have your health and you're not here, then what's the purpose of of all the hard work that you're doing? I mean, I know from experience. I preach from experience of 2.5 years ago, I had a heart attack right here at the shop. Luckily, 9 a.m. I was here. I was like right around this area where I'm at right now, and I just felt this weird pain coming through my body, my arms. It wasn't painful. It didn't hurt like you would see from like TV heart attacks and movies. It wasn't anything like that. It was more of just discomfort, like an elephant was standing on my chest. Not quite an elephant, but more of like, if you have kids and your kids are jumping on you and they're stepping on your chest, it felt just about like that. It just a little bit more pressure than that, and it didn't hurt. It was just weird. So I kept trying to shake it off. Sat down in my office for about an hour, probably 30 minutes, and then it went away. I came in here, worked all day, glued up a table, sprayed it. Just did a normal day of work. 5 o'clock, it happened again. Same exact thing. I kind of felt it coming on, and basically knew something was wrong at that point. But same, it wasn't painful. It didn't hurt. It was just more discomfort. But at that point, it kind of passed. Maybe about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I call my wife, tell her, hey, I think we need to go to the ER tonight. Still wasn't a priority of mine to go. It was more of a like, hey, I got to still go get my kids from my kid from preschool. I have to go home and shower. I've been working all day, and then we'll go to the ER. Because I said once that second episode passed, it went away. It just was gone. So it's really like a weird situation. I thought nothing was wrong. I thought it was just some weird things going on. Maybe like an anxiety attack or a panic attack, caffeine rush, something just odd. Went to the hospital later that night, and right away they took my blood and knew something was wrong. So saying I'm having some sort of cardiac event, not quite a full-blown heart attack, but it was something was going on with my heart that was not supposed to be happening. A few hours later, they ran more tests, and next morning they ran an MRI, knowing, okay, now we know he's got a pretty good clog in one of his arteries, and I think the next day basically had a stent placed, sent me home that afternoon, and I came back to work about 3 or 4 days later, not thinking anything was wrong. I talk about it that it wasn't really a big deal, because at that point, we left the hospital. I only saw the doctor for just a few minutes before he gave me, cut me open on my arm, ran the stent in, and then sent us on our way home. Like, I never saw him again. It wasn't until like the 2-week follow-up that we knew kind of how scary it actually was, where he told me I had a 99% blockage in the widowmaker artery, and that I was lucky to come in at that time. Waiting another few hours, another day, I could have had the full-blown heart attack. And that's what they say is a lot of 30-year-old men die that way, is that they don't think anything's wrong. They don't come in. They just kind of shrug it off. I'm grateful because this happened to one of our friends, one of my best buddies, Ryan, a guy named Ryan Leachy. He died at 30 years old, widowmaker heart attack, same exact situation. And I'm assuming that I bet he felt these pains before me. I have the memorial from his funeral sitting on my desk, and I remember staring at that, just kind of having him talk to me, telling me like, "Hey, you should go get checked out. Like, don't do what I did." Those things were going through my head, and I think that was kind of the straw that pushed me over the edge to like, "Hey, call my wife. Let's go to the hospital. Let's make sure that everything's okay." And so glad I did. My wife at that point was 8 months pregnant with our daughter Morgan, so we, it really kind of hits home when we talk about it, and that it's like I would have never even got to meet her. She would have never known who her dad was. And I said it really jacked me up a lot. Post 2-week checkups, I laughed it off a little bit for the 2 weeks, but after that, it was more, after that appointment, it woke me up, realizing a lot of big things had to change. I had already changed my diet, day one from being out of the hospital, and didn't realize that, we can't change everything at one time. We have to do one step. Let's cut out carbs or cut out bread. Then we cut out, sodas. Then we cut out, caffeinated drinks. Like, it was every month we would change something else in our household. 2.5 years later, now we're here. We eat probably 90% clean. Try to, if we can't read the ingredients on the packaging, we don't buy it anymore. You see on my Instagram, I talk a lot about, the foods, the Lucky Charms having trisodium phosphate in it. And I go, yeah, that's one thing. That's a naturally occurring product. In nature, it's sodium and phosphate. But it's all the fake food dyes and the preservatives. I really feel like a lot of that stuff, the inflammatory oils, all I ate was fast foods, fried foods, French fries, chicken fingers. All of that kind of stuff will eventually lead up to you having a heart attack at 36 years old. Not recommended for sure. So now I'm working on those bookshelves that we did last week. Getting the last coat of sealer sanded as well. And then last piece will be that guitar pick table. I haven't distilled the spray booth. I think we're on the last batch of sealer for all the gray stuff. And then here, maybe in 30 minutes or so, I'm going to start doing the glazing, so that way we can try to get it back in maybe later today or tomorrow morning for one more coat of sealer. So we're trying to juggle all these different projects to make sure we get them done by the end of the week. For this month, it'll be, it's the end of the month, deadlines, and then, customers want to get the pieces over back in their home. So yeah, it's just an ever-changing process here. We try to get everything done. That way we can start all that other furniture from next week, which is here behind the camera. All those pieces we disassembled of furniture. So now it's more of let's get this batch done, make space in here, and we can start fresh again. Start Monday. Once again, I finished the bottom of the table as well. A little bit of sealer, a little bit of color, made it look, just as nice. As I said, doesn't need to be perfect underneath, but it needs to look, presentable. Like, why only do half of the work? Like, let's just do it all and make it look real pretty. When the table gets flipped over. These are going to have a really nice brand new polished leg. They're brass, so that brass is going to sit underneath here. So you want that to look really nice. Like I said, especially when you're working on pieces of this stature. I'm not sure who the designer is on this one, but I'm pretty sure it's a valuable piece. So why not make it, worth every penny? Make it the best it could be. Just like getting back to the health stuff I was talking about earlier. Just baby steps. I lost I think over 40 pounds, not even going to the gym, not even working out, just by cutting out like the crap foods, like the sodas, the drinks, the candies, the desserts. And you know, we sprinkle stuff like that back in now. It's not the end of the world. But right off the bat, just like I said, take away one little thing at a time. Stop eating desserts this month. Next month, you know, stop drinking sodas, which I mean, that's pretty much a dessert anyways. But, you know, it's like I just want to, you know, take it from my experience of almost dying, that you don't want that to happen to you. Like, I've gone through it. I've gone through all the mental parts that go with that too, of just, you know, the thoughts of just not being here, and just what would have happened, you know, with my family, my kids, if I would have died. I don't want that. I don't want to think about that anymore. So I just take care of myself the best that I can. And I said, and it's not that difficult. I never went on any type of diets. Years ago, post heart attack, I went on the best diet ever. You know, it's like I just changed my complete lifestyle of what I put into my body. If you cannot read the ingredients on the packaging, just don't buy it. Some advice that was given to me by a few friends was like, shop on the outside of your market. You know, everything in the middle that's in boxes or cans, just get that out of your diet, which, you know, we pretty much have at home. You know, and if you have kids, you got to do a lot of this stuff for your kids. For one, if you start taking care of yourself, you start eating better, you start doing these things, you stop bringing that food into your house, your kids will never know the difference. Like our kids, they don't ask for Oreos or Lucky Charms or those, you know, types of things, because we don't keep that food in the house. They really don't even know what it is. We made a threat to our kid one time, you know, accidentally. We were driving down the road and he wasn't listening. Said, hey, we're going to take you to McDonald's, you know, if you keep acting up. And he said, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to get sick. Because that's what we tell them. It's like, if you eat too much of that McDonald's, it's going to make you sick. Maybe not day 1 or day 2, but 20 years down the road, you're going to have issues like I did. It's not worth it. It doesn't take that long to cook a little breakfast in the morning, something healthy. Lunch is a little harder since I don't bring lunch with me, but you know, we have our places that we go and we eat healthier and you know, and try to stay off of certain foods. It's an adjustment, but it's worth it if you have kids and you're doing it for them. That's the way I look at it now. Everything I do is for, you know, for my family. You see this guitar pick table starting to take shape, getting that last coat of sealer sanded. You know, where you can't feel it through the camera, but like this is, you know, glass smooth, no overspray. We're gonna get it nice and smooth and get it in the booth. I think Ivan is just about done with the last batch. Then I can kind of jump in and start working on the next, you know, the next part of the puzzle. Get it done. Ivan just finished up sealing all the panels, and I'm already about halfway done with the sanding of them. I decided not to add a lot of retarder to the sealer. The retarder slows down the drying process, really helps with overspray and blushing issues. But with this, we just wanted to put a light coat on so we can get the glaze on over it, which is, you know, what the next step's going to be. Like I said, he's done with that. Ivan's taking lunch. I'm not taking a lunch today. I ate before coming in after the, you know, going to give blood this morning. So what I'm going to do is just work through the afternoon and I'm going to start glazing these panels in the next few minutes. Start getting them to look like that darker, like carbon gray kind of color. And we'll see if we can get it to match up. It's been a few months since I did that color sample, so I'm going to have to figure out the steps that I did exactly with the brush or a rag or the little mixture of both. I don't remember exactly how I did it. It'll take me a second to do. I'll try it on like a backside of one to, you know, to get it dialed in first. We've got Ivan behind the camera again, so now we get to see a little bit more, you know, up close. What I want to show you is this piece here has that first coat of the glaze on. This piece here does not. You can see now we've started to add that little bit of the gray black tones to it. But but we're still missing a little bit of a black hue, maybe a touch of purple. Let me grab the sample and I'll show you that. So you can start seeing, now we're getting within the family here. We're just missing about a shade of this little bit of a black toner. We're going to do that tomorrow. We have to let this glaze dry overnight, but let's get involved. Let's get into the glazing process. I want to show you how I do that. So here's the piece here. What I have found that works the best now on it is I want to wipe a small layer on with a rag, kind of a medium wet coat. Then I'll get my glazing brush and just kind of work it to kind of even out that tone. So the glaze is just going to sit on top. We're going to let it dry overnight. I said this glaze is like more modern, more on the newer style. The old glaze would dry within, minutes, maybe 20 minutes, and we could get it back in the booth. With this new modern stuff from General Finishes, it has to dry, I think, at least 12 hours. So once again, I'm not going to rush the process. We're going to do all the pieces tonight, let it dry, come back tomorrow, get the next coat of sealer on, and probably the coat of toner on it tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to get it done tomorrow. I might have to wait till Friday to make the final coats, but we'll see. We're going to give this a little bit closer. We'll get you up here a little bit closer on it. I said this is same thing like I've been dealing with all week. It's a slow process, long and tedious. I'm going to do this to every single piece that you've been watching me work on this week. So I said we'll get this one done and we'll hop back in here. Maybe we'll get some finals sprayed on those other pieces. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time. Now knowing that this is going to take 12 hours to dry, I have to get this glazed today. If not, it's not getting in the spray booth tomorrow. All right, I'm on my last few doors. I think I have the 3 more doors and then those long, like 7-foot pieces. So I'm going to get this done today. We'll get out of here. It's kind of a long, boring day. There's not much that we could film. Ivan's back. I think that's a good thing. We got some stuff done. This big job is almost ready. Tomorrow we'll get it in first thing in the morning for a coat of sealer to seal all this glaze in. And then what we'll do is sand it quickly, spray a coat of toner, and then make the judgment call, is the toner good enough to spray the final, or if we have to sand it one more time. That's going to be up in the air. So I'm going to send the customer a message here in a minute and close up the shop and get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow.